Parshas Teruma, the famous parsha of the building of the Mishkan. And the second pasuk in the parsha says, Daber al bnei Yisrael v'choli Teruma, me'ez kol ish asher yadvenu libo tichos Terumasi. And Mefarshim discuss in great detail this pasuk, not the pasuk that everyone talks about, but I want to concentrate on this pasuk. Daber al bnei Yisrael v'choli Teruma, so what is the requirement for the contributions to the Mishkan? Isha shedvenu libo, the diva slave. As Naim Torah writes that the main quality of the Mishkan, we always focus in on the gold and on the silver, a little bit less on the brass or the copper, whichever way you want to call it, the chayshes. So that's what we think is the vichli gezach, or the krushim. He says, nope. The main quality of the Mishkan was the Nediva slave, the generosity, the heartfelt generosity to which it was built. Every single piece of material used in the Mishkan, gold, wood, was given with Nediva slave, a sincere heart. And how do we know that? Because Hashem is the one who accepted them. Why was that necessary? It was necessary that this Nediva slave would bring upon Hashros HaShechina. This was going to be a house where the Shekhinah would come down and rest. That's what makes every shul, according to the Znayim Torah, special. Every Beis HaKnesses is built by Jews who are willingly giving out their resources to glorify Hashem's name, to make a Kiddush Hashem. And that's why the tefillos in our Beis HaKnesses are so pleasing to Hashem. All of the institutions that we build on generosity like that fall into that category. I'm going to do something unusual, which is to go to the last pasuk in the parsha. We know the Balei Darshan and all of the speech writers always emphasize the beginning of a parsha, and that those pasukim always have the mazel that's always being quoted. The end of the parsha not so mazeldik. So let's look at the end of Parshas Teruma to see what we can glean from that. And the last pasuk reads, L'chol klei hamishkan b'chol avodaso v'chol yiseidoso v'chol yisdos echotzer nechoshes. So this pasuk is referring to the chotzer. Has all the details of the chotzer prior to this pasuk. Tells you how they were set up with beams and with curtains and with hooks, and this was all spread around outside of the chotzer and enclosed the chotzer, which contained within it the mishkan. Let's look at Rashi on this pasuk. Because you have to put it up and take it down, just like the Mishkan had to be taken up and put down. All of the instruments and all of the equipment, the utensils that were required to put the Mishkan up and then take it down, they made out of nechoshes. And not only that, the hammers as well, and the pins, the yesedos. So he mentions the word yesedos. I'm reading Rashi, pegs of brass to make for the rears of the oil. Rashi asks the question himself. He's not sure if these were fixed into the ground, whether they hung the curtains, whether these pins were on the top or on the bottom, and then only that their weight held them down. So he brings a raya. Rashi says, Omer ani sheshman mochiach aleim. Their very name gives away and reveals what their purpose was. And what their use was, shehet tikun ba'aretz, that they were fastened into the ground, stuck into the ground. That's what they call yesedos, which means pins. And then he brings down a pasuk from Yeshaya, mikrazeh misayeni. That's what I thought was quite fascinating. And the pasuk in Yeshayahu, which he says is in Lamed Gimel, pasuk Chaf, Oyhel bal yitzon, a tent shall not be removed, bal yisa yesedoisav. And its Yeseidos will never be taken out, lo netzach, forever. So the last Rashi in Teruma, the last word of that Rashi is lo netzach, forever. Now that I thought was quite fascinating. And when I thought about what Rashi was doing here, what Rashi is implying here, now this is my part, I hope I'm not wrong, is all of this Nediva slave, all of this wonderful heartfelt contribution was given for what? For a Mishkan. The Mishkan was only going to last while they were in the Midbar. a very temporary dwelling. Who can get enthusiastic about something which you know is going to have a very finite lifespan? We donate the things we want for Nitzchias. We want things to go on forever. What is Rashi telling us here by quoting this pasuk? Yes, the Mishkan was a temporary dwelling place, but it was a forerunner of, as we all know, the Beis Hamikdash, number 1, number 2, and all of the parts of the Mishkan, the menorah, the Aron, Mizbach HaZohav, even the Kiyar, were going to be transferred to the Beis Hamikdash. There was a tremendous element, and in fact, the majority of the element of Nitzchias in this Mishkan. Whatever we donate for Kadosh Baruch Hu automatically has Nitzchias. It doesn't matter what we think is temporary. We are the ones who are temporary, is brought down into Hillim. But Kadosh Baruch Hu's projects and Kadosh Baruch Hu's creations are forever. Even we are forever through our children and Ein Klach. So when we do mitzvahs and we have Nedivas Leiv, that guarantees Nitzchias. I like that connection between the beginning of the Parsha and the end of the Parsha with Rashi. Good Shabbos.